Thank you for joining us for Barnstorm Dance Fest 2020 Digital Edition. I'm Molly Haven-Miller, Executive Director of DanceSource Houston. On behalf of our board, staff, and all of the featured artists, we are so grateful for your participation in this year's on-screen festival. I encourage you to watch all 3 programs showcasing works by 17 dance makers from Houston, the region, and beyond. Programs A and B include documented live works, and Program C features all dance for camera works. Follow along with our suggested program order or choose your own adventure and curate your own lineup. Each link in the program listing will take you directly to the video of each choreographer or company's Vimeo, YouTube, or Google Drive link. Follow us on Facebook to see artist chats to get more insight on works presented on all 3 programs, as well as live stream classes led by festival choreographers. Join the conversation in our festival Facebook event and engage with choreographers, performers, and fellow audience members. Barnstorm Dance Fest is funded in part by Houston Endowment, Texas Commission of the Arts, and the City of Houston through Houston Arts Alliance. A huge thank you goes out to my DSH teammates, Brittany Bass and John Stronks, who helped make Barnstorm possible. We look forward to when it is safe to come together and enjoy dance in shared space again. Thank you so much for joining us in this format for Barnstorm Dance Fest 2020.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Barnstorm Dance Fest Digital Dance Chat Series. My name is John. I am the Programs Manager for DanceSource Houston, and today I am talking with Rivkah French, one of 3 DanceSource Houston artists in residence for the 2019-2020 season. Rivkah's studio time was hosted by Claire's School of Dance. So before I get started with Rivkah, on behalf of DanceSource Houston, I would like to thank Claire's School of Dance for their continued support and partnership. Hello, Rivkah, are you there? Come on in.
I'm with you. Hello, John.
Hey,
how are you?
It's good to see you. That's a nice, that is a nice light that you have found. We're learning a whole different, a whole new lighting situation with this Zoom planet stuff that we're living in right now. So, and happy Pride Month. I love your So let's dive right in. I just want to, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a general or in-depth reflection of your time as an artist in residence with whatever is present on your mind.
Great, thank you. I am Rivkah French, and I'm an independent contemporary dance choreographer here in Houston. Been making work for a little over 20 years. I pretty much started choreographing the day I stepped into my first dance class, or actually before, because I knew I wanted to be a choreographer before I even knew how to dance at all. And I've continued to enjoy and receive the benefits of the Houston dance scene and community, and it's really an honor to be part of the AIR program and Barnstorm Dance Fest this year. And so my project was the short dance film Concrete Flow, which for me was a really exciting challenge to step into an exploration of hip-hop influenced contemporary choreography. And the thing that the AIR program provided for me was a space to research and explore and give the project the time that it needed. I think the big emphasis that I got from you guys was that it's all about process. And so often as choreographers and dance makers, we put this pressure on ourselves to make so many shows per year, do so many projects, and this program completely reinvigorated my desire and gave me the opportunity to take the space I needed to make the project everything I wanted it to be. And for me, spending months on a 5-minute dance film was such a wonderful experience and luxury that I won't go back to making something quickly and then having regrets afterwards. So that was really something I appreciated a lot. And how the program works is it's a really elegant combination of different benefits and features that are offered to help enhance the artist in residence experience and project. So between, assistance with the grant writing for individual grants, and then workshops on branding and writing, etc. There were the fieldwork sessions, which I really appreciated, having a space to go show my work in progress, little bits. And the really cool part was that I didn't know before going in that fieldwork could be any medium. So it doesn't have to be dance. So I brought my music that I was editing one time, and I brought video of a rehearsal rather than live performance. And I discussed costumes and all kinds of other elements, because so much goes into creating work that, and we're all whole people. We're not just choreographers of a specific style. We're choreographers of many styles, and we're artists of many influences. And so one time I went to the field work, and I read a story I had written that was about a teenage experience that I just wanted to share and get feedback on. And so getting that feedback was crucial to understanding how other people were receiving my work and what was landing for them and how it was landing, without any judgment or any criticism. The setup is so neutral that you're not getting a lot of opinions per se on the quality of your work. You're getting the impressions that people had when they saw or heard or experienced what you offer. So not only getting to get all that feedback was really helpful, but also getting to give it to other people in that same non-judgmental way, and watch their work as it developed, and really getting to see the other two heirs process, and get to sort of all, support each other through our development was really fun. So that's something.
Did you find at all that that process sort of changed the way that you receive other people's work in general? Like, has that crossed beyond the I'm not sure what you've had the opportunity to see, because everything has been so interrupted, but in the way that you receive performance?
Absolutely. Yeah, I hadn't even really made that connection, but there has been a shift from maybe some of the judgment that comes with sitting in an audience and taking in or watching a dance video or experiencing any art, from taking it in with the idea of, do I like this or not? And is this high quality to me or not? Or would I want to make something like this or not? Really sort of letting all of that go. And now I'm feeling more of an experience of, how does this make me feel? What is my experience during this moment? That's really what you share with the people who are presenting work in field work. You don't say like, I liked this and this was good. You say, oh, when you made that gesture, it reminded me of this color, or I was interpreting this thing happening, and that was my experience. So now it's really giving me more of an opportunity to be present when I have any audience experience with work without the judgment. So yeah, I think we should all be practicing those.
That is awesome. With regard to the work that you're presenting, the two works that you're presenting in the two films or videos, what do we call them in this format? The two camera dances is what I'll call them. That you're presenting in the festival. Where did you start with each of them? Where did you end up? And were those necessarily straight lines, 180-degree turns, 360 degrees wrestling matches? How was that? What were the processes or process?
Yeah, the Concrete Flow mural dance film went almost exactly how I thought it was going to go. I had the music picked out. I knew that I wanted to work with really talented hip hop dancers. And I knew that the end result would be, I knew what the costumes would look like, and I knew what the murals would be that we shot in front of, and I knew the effects that I wanted to add to the video. So all of that was like in my head a year and a half ago when I made the application for the air. I don't, maybe it was 10 years ago. Time is so crazy. But it was like a year and a half ago or so. But yeah, so all of that happened kind of how I thought it would, and how I hoped it would. And what I did in the beginning of the process in the fall was I set about going to Soundbox Studios and taking as many hip hop classes as I could, and sort of getting to know who might be good to work with, and finding my dancers that way, and just being influenced by the style and allowing that to sort of wash over me, in addition to continuing to train with the Shenwei contemporary technique that I'm obsessed with and that I'm in love with. And so merging the Asian influenced Shenwei style with all of this new pop information that I was getting in, it was really liberating to be in those hip hop classes and like get the freedom of like, oh, what? I can release my torso. I can like let my shoulders come forward. It's all about the swagger. What? You know, like as a newbie, letting that soak into my body and then allowing that to start to influence the choreography. So first it was kind of a research phase, and then bringing together the dancers that I wanted to work with. Two of whom had never done any contemporary movement at all. So one of them, Joel Rivera, has done every style. I think he started as a break dancer and then went to Sam and studied all the modern and the ballet, and he's done tons of partnering. But the other two were straight up hip hop dancers. So that was a really cool process of bringing everybody together for those first rehearsals and getting to know what they could all bring to each other and to the project. And then so that.
How did you gather that community? So like I'm hearing that you went and you were taking hip hop classes, and I'm also hearing a thread that sounds like people are like that, like people and dancers are the thing that you're interested in working with. I'm not it's not necessarily a culture conversation, but sort of an interpersonal conversation. So I'm curious how the community of dancers came together.
Yes.
If it was just sort of a happy coincidence.
Yes, I think I was well aware that I did not have the time or resources to actually like really learn all the history and the intricacies of the hip hop style, and to really pay homage to it as a dance discipline. So I really went knowing that like I'm going to be influenced by this style, but most important to me is to not like learn every aspect of it, but to be influenced by it, and then to find people who have really given themselves to it in a way that is very obvious in how they dance, so that they can come and show everything that they've learned and studied and developed in themselves as artists, and bring that to the project as individuals. So for me, it made no difference that Michaela Williams had never been lifted before. Even though there were going to be lifts in the work, I knew that we could work on that in rehearsal. What mattered to me was her incredible style and individuality, and all the artistry that she brings to her hip hop dancing. And so I knew that that would come through in the end, and I think it absolutely did with each individual. And so I basically just walked up to her at the end of a class after watching her dance the whole time and sort of not being able to take my eyes off her. And I said, are you a professional dancer? She said, no. I said, do you want to be? She said, of course I do. That's like the best, dancer pickup line, you can ask someone. And she said, that would be great. And we talked about it from there. And, you know, everybody's rehearsal schedules worked out. Of course, you still don't ever feel like you've had enough rehearsals by the end of it because of holidays and other things having to cause us to cancel a few of our rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always that, it always comes together in the end moment where we just, by the time we shot the film in March, mid-March, it felt really clean, really solid. We had a whole weekend of just traveling from mural to mural, and doing take after take after take. And then another thing about Roger Arias, the other dancer, he is a teacher at Soundbox. So it was really great to actually take his class, see his awesome personality, and how he works with other people in his teaching. So that not only his amazing dance style itself, but also his way of being really sort of made me reach out to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel Rivera, of course, he's very well known in the Houston dance community for all of the incredible talent he has. So that was a no-brainer. He was the first person I asked. So yeah, so that was my team, and it was really great to like have moments where we're all doing the exact same thing, and it's very synchronized. And then everyone had different moments where they got to create their own solo based on movement and the music that I gave them. And then other moments where there was lots of partnering, and then moments of group improv. So it really hits, you know, within that 5-minute dance film, you get to see everybody really shine as individuals, but then also really work as a group in lots of different ways. And then another partner was, you know, the murals themselves behind us. And another partner was the camera. So yeah, the editing was, I think we had 180 takes to go through, and of different chunks of the dance and different in front of different murals. And I think that that part of the process is so important to take your time with. Unfortunately, I had a film editor, Neiman Catley, who was willing to spend hour after hour pouring through it, working with me, making sure we were both really satisfied with the end product.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. So you also made a solo dance, camera dance, and how did that? I understand that that came about due to the COVID interruption, and so I'd be curious to hear a little more about how you processed through that, and whether or not that is possibly an expression of how your practice and or process has changed throughout the residency, or just specifically within the context of that interruption.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question, because I think it's true of both. So the thing that was supposed to happen after Concrete Flow was filmed and edited was Queer Camp, which was supposed to be mid-April, which is a wonderful gathering of LGBTQ folks out in the woods doing healing nature and art activities together. So of course that was postponed indefinitely until large groups can gather. And I was, you know, of course, disappointed, but I knew that there was another project that I could work on, which is this dance duet film involving body paint, and it's very genderqueer and lots of really interesting angles and effects. And I was like, oh, okay, well, who's my partner going to be? Who am I going to put in my social distancing circle that will be able to rehearse and film this with me during all this downtime. It's a great time to pick that up. And I couldn't find a partner because nobody wanted to dance in contact with someone else. So I was like, oh crap, like I need a project. I need to dance. Like when hard times hit, you really get clear on what your priorities are, what matters, and what you absolutely can't live without. And I can't live without dance, period. So I started working on solo, movement, developing my own technique. And I thought, oh, this will be a fun game. I'll make an ABC solo. So I'll make a movement for every letter of the alphabet, and then I'll figure out really interesting ways to string it all together and see how it all develops. And so I did that, and it was the first time I had played a game like that with myself, I think, because I was just so bored and isolated and like ready for something novel and new and challenging. And normally when you're compiling dancers and you're figuring out rehearsals and you're looking at everybody's strengths and talents and how it all fits together, that's really taking up a lot of my time as a choreographer when I'm putting something together. But it was just me and a song that I liked, and thinking about where I could do it. So I needed some other challenge, and the challenge was, you know, go by the alphabet and challenge yourself to come up with movement that represents all of those words. And so that was really fun. I loved that process. And then I changed the music like 5 times, and then I changed the location, and then finally I settled on a cemetery. And Main Street Cemetery is cemetery. Sorry, Main Street Cemetery is just really beautiful and historic and picturesque, and everything lined up perfectly. I got there. There was a policeman there, and sometimes, you know, police officers are indulgent with artists, and you could say, you know, oh, I'm making this thing, and they're like, oh, that's cute, your little art project. But in a cemetery, I did not necessarily think that would fly. So I just waited, and then my filmmaker got there, and then
Oops. I think you went silent. Oh,
sorry, I was getting a phone call.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Mom. Well, that project sounds really, really, really great. I'm glad you were able to get so much done in the process of that. But we are getting close to time, so I do want to give you an opportunity to give any sort of last thoughts that you have, and maybe talk about what's happening next for you.
Yes, thank you. So next for me is, as soon as our troops can get back together, we're going to have our queer camp out in the woods at Lake Houston National Park, and have, you know, campfire sing-alongs and roasted marshmallows, wonderful healing experiences for everyone that comes. And my commitment to empowering minority communities has only grown stronger through this process. And I'm just out here fighting the Judeo-Christian cis-het white supremacist patriarchy. So I'm never gonna stop doing that. That's who I am.
This is the time to cross that threshold.
Yeah, and the duet that I had wanted to do during COVID will happen. I'm on a national search right now for the perfect partner, and I think the focus of it will really shift over to the beauty and the intimacy of touch, because I think that's something that we all value even more than we ever have before. So that's kind of something that's opened up for me during the past months. But yeah, this has been such a wonderful experience with the other airs and with the incredible staff of Dance Force Houston. And I want to tell anybody who's watching that when you see jhon and Molly and Brittany, either in person or online, give them all the love and gratitude, because they're doing so much for this community that that helps us all enjoy and create and appreciate this dance form that we love so much. So thanks, you guys.